Alrighty guys, we're gonna get started here just in a second. Oh. Welcome back. Okay, cool. Perfect. Yep. There you go. Alrighty guys, check in, make sure all the audio levels are good. Per usual, making sure everything is all right. Welcome back, guys. I'm back from my vacation in San Diego. Welcome back if you're new. My name is Trent Manager. I'm your guys' host on MTV TA. All my patrons who are back, welcome back. I know we had a crazy weekend this weekend. I got back yesterday on Monday, and I was just so out of the loop. Didn't bring my laptop or anything. I needed just a quick reset, quick break. The trip was awesome, but man, did we have a weekend. Just so we are gonna... Man, there's just so much to go over. So, got back yesterday, went over the readings, was doing a bunch of readings and video watching yesterday, just getting back in the loop of really just what's going on. I know we were breaking all-time highs while I was out in California, and just, things were just going absolutely crazy. And yesterday we had a pretty bad drop yesterday, so we're going to go in depth and kind of just catch up to speed, really, what's going on. I hope you guys had a great weekend, though. Seriously. So our agenda today, guys, we're going to be going over just real quick, U.S. stimulus going out this week. We're going to be going over some analysts and data for where stimuluses are heading, either that into the market, Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, anywhere. We're going to go over some data and analytics for that. We're also going to go over some NFT Google searches. As we know, or not even as we know, but I didn't even know on Monday, we had DeFi hashtags or search volume past Ethereum, which is quite phenomenal, but it's good for both sides because, as you guys know, majority of decentralized projects are run on Ethereum. As there are other smart chains coming along, Ethereum is still head honcho, and we actually might cover some of the issues that are going on with Ethereum right now. Not even issues, but there are people not agreeing with certain rules and regulations, and there are changes and updates being made to the network constantly that some people are not agreeing with right now. So we'll definitely hop into that and kind of explain what's going on with there. Just because Ethereum's performance has not been matching, I don't think what anyone expected, which is completely fine. We're still merry on our way. I'm liking the way how we're going in this market. It's very slow and continued. People want things so fast nowadays, and that's just not how it works. Momentum is still applied when it comes to these markets. What goes up must come down. We're also going to go over real quick. Students in Georgia are being set to taught cryptocurrencies, which is unreal in high school, I think at the high school level, but they are not going to be able to take cryptocurrency classes in high school to understand whether, I'm hoping that they can do, that they're offering blockchain development in those classes, because that would, if I would have had that in high school, that probably would have changed my entire career path, possibly. I still love what I do, video-wise and all multimedia stuff, but that could have definitely changed my entire career path around if that was in high school. So that's awesome. We're going to go over that as well. We're also going to go over the big boys are still coming. Institutions are going in. We had our friend JP Morgan come back at us again with another quote of what they were saying. So we're going to go over some infamous quotes that they had not too long ago, a couple months ago. 30K is a top, and then what was it? 50K again was a top, and then it's worth, oh man, they've just had so much crazy stuff. But we're going to go over them. We're going to roast them a little bit, just like we always do. And then also we're going to go on Kathy Wood. All for those who don't know who Kathy Wood is, she runs the ARK FinTech and other massive ETF innovation funds or hedge funds in general. She's a very knowledgeable woman, very, very smart. She was one of the women, or she's one of the only people who called Tesla's exponential year this year. She said Tesla would be one of the top performing stocks this year. That was last year, and she was spot on. She was also a good prediction with Bitcoin. As she is fairly new, she did access that to her balance sheet not too long ago, and she is still getting in the groove, but she was one of the earlier people who kind of had our back when things weren't as set in stone as they were now, and she advocated for this, and she said this time and time again, and she's continued to be right, and she runs amazing companies and really knows how to manage money very well and really hedge herself against others. So awesome. So that was the agenda we went over, guys, real quick. Let's make sure we're good. Awesome. We're only 6 minutes in. Trying to take up too much time on the intro, just kind of make you guys know what's going on. We're also going to go to the Patreon real quick. I send out emails. Let me know if you guys are, I think you guys are getting my emails. It's fine. But here, let me just try to, I post here constantly, guys. So anything I post here, like I got polls up here for you guys, just because I want to know what you guys are, wanting to learn. And I know you guys, all the schedules are so different now. Like I know you guys, some of you guys work nights, some of you guys are up when I'm not up, and I'm up early, and some of you guys aren't up early. I totally get it. But definitely when you can, guys, just take a look at the polls and take a just take a 2 to 4 minute time to the Patreon, just get updated, see what you want to learn, and just get back to me, whether it be email or just through the polls. I always try to post on here at least every other day, or if not every day. I like to give you guys enough. I like to keep you guys exactly in the loop of what's going on all the time, just because this is such a fast changing space, and it's so quick to turn, in whether that be updates or, cryptocurrency news or regulations or policies or this famous person's in that, or, anything that could happen. I just like to keep you guys up to date because I think it's super important. So enough on that. I think we are good for the intro for today, which is awesome. So let's actually just start off with our first article. So we're going to talk about our stimulus. So stimulus is coming this week in the United States. As soon as March 14th is when people are supposed to be getting checks. So as of right now, it is the 16th. So people are already getting checks. I drew this up about 2 days ago. I did some while I was in California and some while I was here. So stimulus is already flowing in. We know this is probably not going to be the last round either. I think it was a $1.9 to $2 trillion package we just did. A lot of young people are getting stimulus, and what does that mean for the markets? So going down to the survey by Misio Securities estimates that 10% of the 380 billion to be issued as checks could be used to invest or save. So also going down to the points how this is going to help our market. So nearly 40 billion of the latest round of directed stimulus could be spent on Bitcoin and stocks, according to the new survey. So we kind of saw that coming. That's not anything new. It's been in the news. It's like the third round of stimulus we've had, and we knew people were already saving and or investing their stimulus checks before this. But it's probably picked up now that we are getting a little bit more heat, a little bit more light on the spotlight, and search trends are becoming an all-time high, and people are starting to kind of reach out more. We thought this was going to be institutional kind of run that we're having, but it seems mostly that retail is catching on very, very quickly. Institutions are just kind of giving us a nice little backbone, but seriously, like you guys, us retail investors, like me, you, your grandma, your dad, your friend Mike, like all those people, like we are considered retail investors, not the big fish in the pond. We're doing a really good dent, in this side of the investing, which is really shocking to me going through this data. So just to go over a couple of the points in here, nearly 2 out of 5 Americans expect to receive a stimulus check in the coming days, anticipate using a portion of them to invest in the company they found, appealing to them. That's great. That's just more money in the market. That's, kind of the whole point of stimulus, to, be able to fuel the markets and, keep things, keep things running, because money does help a lot. Bitcoin is expected to account for 60% of total invested, which could add as much as 3% of the cryptocurrencies market, according to Misio Securities, managed by Director Dan DeVille. Well, that's awesome. That we kind of expected that in a way, also kind of that we knew the influx of Bitcoin might become a lot more. This would just help push us even higher and kind of just keep spreading that more widespread adoption that we always cover, and I always like to talk about, because we don't need everybody in the world to accept cryptocurrency. We just need a little good section of people to accept cryptocurrency, because most people won't own all of cryptocurrency in their life. They won't own any in their life. So this is exactly what I was talking about, and how this is going to be helpful. And then also the 1.9 trillion COVID-19 relief package recently signed by President Joe Biden would be eligible to Americans to receive a $1,400 check, just in case anyone didn't know about the stimulus and how much they would be getting. So just want to go over that real quick. That's amazing news for us in investments in cryptocurrency space. People are wanting to go out and spend money. People are kind of wanting to save and kind of be more prepared, as most people don't save as much as often as they should. It's kind of just when it comes type deal. When tire blows out, they won't pay for it, or when this happens, then we'll do it. So saving is kind of become it's a harder thing to do for a lot of people, and and it's not easy. Saving all the time is not easy, because unexpected things happen all the time. So nothing wrong with that at all. Let's also, we didn't want to go over here. Actually, we did, actually. And then also, we're going to hop into our next reading real quick. I also have some videos in here, guys, for you. Whoops, oh my goodness. We are trying to, I got a new webcam. I've gone through 3 webcams, guys. 3 webcams, and for some reason, my webcam, it doesn't do well. Like, it flickers, and it doesn't, do super well. So I have to use my DSLR, and it sometimes disconnects, and it's just not fun. And I'm gonna definitely do. I did a hard dive yesterday, and was trying to figure it out, what was going on with it. But here, let me switch over. Okay, there we go. I was trying to, whatever. We will figure it out in the upcoming weeks. No worries. But where we left off, we're going off to NFT Google searches. volume exceeds DeFi and Ethereum as celebrities join the craze. So as we've known, we've talked about a ton, NFT this, NFT that. It's everywhere. Like it's truly amazing to me. Even like I still am wrapping my head around it and still getting a grip. Like even as an artist, like I have a collection that I want to drop here soon. But I was kind of just waiting to see how like I'm looking for water. Don't know where it went. That's fine. I was looking to drop and get NFTs in there and really get immersed in the space. But I just wanted to feel it out. And I mean they're here to stay. We talk about NFTs I think every single time we live stream, and it's because we can't ignore them. Like it's making it to the point where it's like. You can't ignore the internet. It's everywhere. You're starting to not be able to, even now, you can't ignore Bitcoin or cryptocurrency. Like, you hear about it all the time. Like, even if you're not looking for it, which is funny, like, I was talking to a buddy, it's like, he still hears about it. Like, he like, comes over here and he talks to me, and it's just, like, I always bring it up just because, like, that's just the type of person I am, because, like, I want my friends and all my, my peers to, like, be in this, because it's an amazing space. And even he was just on Twitter or wherever he was, or I think it was like a billboard or something he was telling me about that. He can't even escape it. So I think it's so funny that even if you want to hide from it, you can't. So but crossing down this article, guys, like it's kind of a long, lengthy read, kind of just in the sort of bulletin points, but seriously, just long story short, the ETH trends that we were seeing here, this was, I believe, kind of just, this was pulled, don't mind the Chinese lettering. I think this was just pulled kind of just worldwide, or, and also, kind of collectively in a pull. But NFT is the blue, DeFi is going to be the red, and Ethereum is going to be the yellow. As you can see, NFT is now meeting Ethereum cross-length over the past year and a half, 2 years, no, not even year and a half, the past six months to a year. And the top NFT news over the last week, we've got American Rock Lodge Kings of Leon's planning to launch their new album. We talked about that a couple weeks ago. This is a huge one. The very first album releases the NFT. Recently, the original artwork of Banksy, Dub Moran's worth $100 was destroyed after converting a non-fungible token. We also talked about this. If you go back in the Patron videos, I believe that was like 2 weeks ago, I think. That was like on Tuesday, like 2 weeks ago. We also talked about this. So we have covered these before and again. And it's funny how we were early to this. It's funny how we got this right as it came out, and now they're covering this now. Like, now they're using the information that we already knew now to, broaden this case. So, I mean, the people who didn't know about this 2 or 3 weeks ago are going to be like, what the hell did I miss? Or like, what happened? And then another one, 250-year-old auction house, Christie's recently conducted a sale of digital artwork of Beeble using his NFT digital collage of Marketplace. So if you didn't know, I don't think we covered Beeble on here, but Beeble was an artist who did an art piece every single day for like 3.5 years or something, and he put it in a collage, and it's just a big canvas of every single art piece that he's done every day for the past like 3 years. Ended up selling for $69 million, if you can believe that. So the amount of money that goes through here is astounding. It got some questions rolling for me, like money laundering. It got so many gears turning. But this is here to stay, guys, and this is just another asset class. This is another asset class that is being developed and is now being utilized for a positive momentum moving forward. The trust, just like what did we cover here? Dub Morons, when his art piece, I believe we talked about that and we showed the video on that, him burning that piece of artwork and putting it and minting it as an NFT just to show the trustworthiness of the blockchain, saying that you don't have to have something physical for it to be worth value. So I think I covered it last week, a couple weeks ago, and I thought it was awesome. I don't think I would burn in a $100,000 art piece. I would, to prove a point, I definitely would like lock it away somewhere, maybe like throw away the key or something. But I would definitely show the trust through the blockchain as much as I could. Just the way that he did it, it's his art. I completely understand why he did it, and it was a very impactful statement, I guess. At least more to me as an artist too, because there's nothing more you trust than having an original piece and knowing that it's one-of-one. So that's definitely a plus. And then also National Basketball Association of their NFT shot top clocker cards that they released. And also we had Gronk on here too as well last week, which is pretty crazy. So yeah, all those guys we've covered. NFTs not going anywhere. I'd love to see how this plays out in the next couple weeks to months, and we will continue to talk about them as long as they are as long as they keep providing this value of teaching. We will still cover them. So absolutely. Oh, so sorry, guys. Had to clear my throat. Also, I wanted to introduce this reading as well. It's an opinion. It's an opinion for critical thinking. This isn't the revolution I signed up for. I'm not going to cover this too long. It was simply just a rundown of the social networks online by Paul Brody. Paul Brody's he's big with CoinDesk. He does a lot of blockchain management and different integration with businesses, kind of like Michael Saylor, but he doesn't really own as big of a firm as Michael Saylor, like MicroStrategy and Grayscale. But he still does good work on the social end, and he kind of just goes through the article. It's super long. We're not going to go through it, but I'm going to post it in the Patreon because I like the way in some sections how he explained some things. How he's saying, good blockchain here. If any of these problems were real world problems, blockchain technology could fix them. There are issues that blockchain can literally eliminate solutions for, but then there's also the cost of what sacrifice is this giving up, because when one thing comes in, it has to push out another thing. So, at one point, you had email and you had all this other stuff, and you had everything kind of all spaced out, and then the phone came out. So now you have basically a mini computer that you can take around with you anywhere, anytime, any place. And the phone was a huge disruption for a lot of industries and a lot of different ways of life. It came a lot of good. A lot of good came out of the phone and of that advancement. But there were definitely some other industries and impactfulness that took a hit from that from that wavelength. So that was just the comparison I wanted to say. We're not going to go over this too much anymore just because it's super long. But I definitely wanted to bring that up because I read this over, and I think this is a really good read for some critical thinking skills for kind of moving forward in that section. Awesome. And then also, we're now getting to students in Georgia set to be taught about cryptocurrency in high school. High school students in Georgia look to set to be taught crypto after a new various financial literacy program was approved by Georgia House of Representatives. I'm not sure how Georgia ranks on the scale of good schools in the states, because I know every state in the United States has a different rating for how their state does for education. I know Arizona is awful. That's where I live. And I know we had red Fred strikes, and it was just, we were out of school for 6 weeks because the state just does not want to pay our teachers. So I thought it was crazy. And I think that's amazing that Georgia's doing that. And they're kind of just, I can see now states like Miami and Georgia, they're doing all these things now for integration and showing that hey, this isn't going anywhere. Either we need to start teaching this and get this kind of laid out on the table, or we need to start doing integration things here. Where the U.S. is very far behind with the blockchain space and development phase of cryptocurrency. The other countries have it very, very fluent, a lot more fluently than us. Here it's you can't go to the store and use payments for cryptocurrency and other sorts of payments. There are other countries where they are they're catching up to speed pretty fast. China's one of them. China's in a big fish in the pond. They are huge in their technological advancements right now. And just going through more of this article, it kind of goes through just the teachings, the material that they're going to be learning, career paths out of it. I know for International Women's Day, they posted this video, which we'll play. This is actually so awesome. This girl's 3 years old, and she explains Bitcoin perfect. I'm gonna play it for you guys because it's phenomenal. I think it's so cute. She's so cute. The State Board of Education shall prescribe a program of study in the personal finance literacy to be completed by students during high school. So it's actually mandatory. I must have missed this, and I don't know how. This sounds mandatory. The State Board of Education shall prescribe a program of study in personal finance literacy to be completed by students during high school. So that sounds like I don't know if you guys ever had what was it? We had to do the citizen, civil test. I remember at least at high school, I had to pass a citizen civil test to show that I knew about American structure and all this other stuff, and I think you had to get 70 or above on it to pass the class. And I was wow. I was interesting. But this is actually phenomenal. I really like that. They're either gonna have a cryptocurrency section on this test, or even just personal finance. Oh my gosh, I cannot tell you. I took an advanced business marketing class, and it was cool, but it didn't teach you. It taught you barely anything. It wasn't anything about how to budget or how to pay bills or how to really do anything real world. We learned in there how to, I'm trying to remember, that was so long ago. What did we did H&R Block. I remember we did a fake simulation, and my car got hit by a tree 4 times in a month or something. It was ridiculous, but and my insurance was running me. But long story short, I thought this was awesome. Georgia, big thumbs up to them. I don't know how it works statewide. I don't know if this is a statewide thing, but it's very new. This was just approved, I think, a couple days ago. So we'll definitely follow up with this and keep moving. And there we go again with the camera. I'm so sorry, guys. Oh my goodness. Jeez. goodness sakes. I don't know why this keeps... Alrighty. But I'm going to play this video of Little Miss Lily for you because she does a great job of explaining cryptocurrency. Oh my goodness, let's see if we can get this cam. There we go. Jeez. I'm gonna play around with that. I'm gonna have to figure out this camera situation just because it's getting ridiculous. But awesome, guys. I'm gonna play this clip for you real quick.
Hi, friends. Welcome to Lisa. Today we're gonna talk about Bitcoin.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Bitcoin is digital money. The good thing about Bitcoin is that it's decentralized, which means you don't need a bank. There will only be 21 million ever in the whole world. Bitcoin was invented by Satoshi Nakamoto. No one knows who it is. It's a mystery. How did it all work? I'm going to show you with Skittles. These are all the Bitcoin. Teddy has some. Lily has some. Unicorn has some. Dolly has some. This is my wallet. This is Unicorn's wallet. We all have wallets. Dolly can play 2 Bitcoin.
And so this represents the transaction. And stack it right here.
Take it only 1 Bitcoin. Thank you, Teddy. Thank you, Teddy. Now that's the blockchain. Everyone can see this, but it's all anonymous. So that's the digital Bitcoin. I'll talk about this fun stuff. Why is it so expensive? Bitcoin is secure, anonymous, and limited. So everyone wants it. That's why the price keeps going up. This is, I don't like these glasses on. I love Bitcoin, I love it, and skills. Okay, and who wants to
I'll have to find her YouTube channel, but I think it's Lily, just the Lily Show. But I remember seeing this and I was like, wow. Like I still have homies and friends and family who just still can't wrap their head around it, and I have sent them this and be like, man, like this 3-year-old gets it. Like, you know, like most people just overthink it. They overthink it to the point to where they confuse themselves, because it's not hard to understand blockchain technology. It's not. It's really not hard. It's the fact that people either refuse to, learn it and don't want to learn it, or they think it's new, just like new things bring fear, and fear brings denial. And with denial, you don't, when you have something in your mind that you set in stone, do not want to understand, and you want to reject, it's going to be harder for you to understand the facts and actually, distinguish between what's real and, what's not. What's your own thoughts and what's the facts of the actual, network and, what you're talking about. So I thought that was hilarious. She's awesome. By far, newest subscriber. I've been subbed to her now ever since I saw that video. So Lily killed it, absolutely murdered it. So also hopping over to Bitcoin's 1Q retail flow exceeding institutional investments. This is for JP Morgan for some of their clients. This is on March 15th at 10:41 a.m. So as we know, JP Morgan has been all over the place with their switching of titles and expectations and their trust of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. They're always talking about this and that and just not really posting the best stuff ever. So going through their article, they're talking about retail versus institutional Bitcoin flows and who's holding what, just some analytic data, and they see the updates and all the Bitcoin flow numbers charts, throughout the years. I think right here I'll have to open this. Let's see. Bitcoin's purchase facilities by Square. It just kind of goes by quarters. Quarters that you either do every 3 months or every month. It just depends, I think, on the bank, whatever the bank quarter statements are. But I brought this one into play just to go over some quick key detail points. I'm not a fan of JP Morgan at all. I had them as a bank. Didn't like them as a bank. They weren't good at all. I don't like too many banks in general, but you got to do it for right now. But retail investors have purchased over 187,000 Bitcoin so far this quarter, compared to roughly 172,684 by institutional investors, according to JP Morgan estimates. So just like this is a good quote, because I remember we talked about this also. Remember when we just talked about, I think about 15 minutes ago, about how we were saying how this is an institutional, it was, this seemed like an institutional driven run, but it actually was in a retail driven run. This is what I'm talking about. Retail investors are outperforming institutional investors, in not by a ton of Bitcoin, by a couple thousand, but that's still a good amount of money when you put it in money dollar sign terms. But institution or retail investors are really carrying some of the heavy weight this run, and institutions are here. They're holding their own, but people, even me, I really thought that institutions were overpowering the retails, and that is actually just not true at all. So big plus to retail, and people were starting to see that. That track kind of started to catch some sparks, which is phenomenal. But now both retail and institutional investors, Bitcoin's flows are more equal balance compared to quarter four, and the news was reported earlier by Bloomberg. So this was just yesterday at 10:41, so still fairly fresh, absolutely. We're seeing it go. I like to bring these charts in here because it likes to show you where people's heads are at, what's going on. Just by numbers and statistics. I'm a big numbers person. I like to just go off the real, some real statistics and real good quarterly earnings and all that. It helps with price prediction, and that's why I do TAs, because it helps give that that mathematical algorithm edge. Of actually hey, this is what can happen, but now that we have these numbers, we can really flip the script from now being a little bit from confident to a lot more confident in a way. So. And then lastly, let's see what we're going on here. Make sure we're going good. Cool. Awesome. Geez, we did good today, guys. We're only 30 minutes in, and we still got to go. We still got a video to watch of Mike Novogratz. So just skimming through Kathy Wood and her talks about Bitcoin. She has now allocated Bitcoin into her personal ARK Invest FinTech balance sheet. She's been advocating for others. I know she's held meetings and other events, just like Michael Saylor and Michael Novogratz and the Winklevoss twins. All of those guys. She's really hopping on board, but trying to get bigger players, step in the water and be okay with this. And she goes on CNBC, and we're gonna play this clip also real quick. But she just goes over and talks about eventually cryptocurrency will now be a normal integration for a balanced portfolio. So usually a balanced portfolio, what people say with investing is a 60-40 rule, of having maybe 60% of stocks and indexes, whether that be exchange traded funds, ETFs, and then there were bonds. There was the bonds time where bonds were really good, giving out crazy amounts of yields, but that's not really much the case anymore. But pretty much just the integration of having a new normal of having that integrated in your portfolio. So most people will have bonds in their portfolio. Or in the earlier days, it was very common to have a good amount of bonds in your portfolio. The reason for that was because bonds were guaranteed, pretty much a guaranteed fail-safe safety net for payouts. So thinking about it like dividend stocks in a way that bonds were just really overpowered dividend stocks, that they were able to have that safety net. So you would put maybe $10 in, maybe each bond is like $10. So you put $10 in, and you would be making, at the time, like I reviewed this bond chart yesterday, and like at one point, like during the peaks of bond, yield times, that you were making almost like 13%, back on, each bond that you own. So like the payout was insane, but ever since, that top, which I think was like 2004, we've seen the slide from bonds from 15%, 50% a year to down to to 1. Like you're getting, I sold all of my bonds. I don't own any bonds anymore, but we were seeing negative bond yields at one time during this crazy time that we had. So kind of just got off topic there for a second, but kind of just wanted to kind of touch on that for a second. But Kathy continues to explain the stabilization of Bitcoin and how this is going to be integrated in balance sheets for institutions, for retail investors, for retirement. I definitely am a thumbs up to that. I will be holding my Bitcoin till retirement. I'm a firm believer in that, and other big players have paved the way with showing that and how that can become possible and how that is possible. So I'm going to go to Kathy's statement video real quick of what she has to say about that, and then we're going to also hop into Michael Novogratz's video real quick, and then we might get out of here a bit early today, guys. So awesome.
2021. Joining us now for a first on CNBC interview is ARK Invest
She's
Welcome
quality's
back to the
terrible.
show. Good to have you.
Great to be here, Sarah. Thank you.
There we go.
It's been amazing to watch your rise and your funds rise over the last year, and yet the past few weeks have been absolutely brutal. The ARC Innovation ETF down 31% from the recent highs. How concerned are you about these rising interest rates and what that's doing to a lot of your high growth companies and the questions about valuations? Sure.
Well, we've been struck that the market never priced in 0.5, 1, or 1.5% interest rates. We think the market never believed interest rates would stay down here, and so it over time, we believe, has used sort of a normalized 3 to 5%. So we don't think that is why the market is correcting here. We do think the speed of the increase in interest rates is scaring people. It became very comfortable in a low interest rate environment, nothing much changing, the Fed has our back and so forth, to become involved with the market. And I think this has shaken a lot of investors up, maybe perhaps, and I would say even in the bond market in particular, we've been in a 40-year bull market in bonds. So I think there's a lot of confusion.
There you go. That's what I was talking about. How
and,
she brought that up with bonds. How we've been sliding very tremendously.
Here. I also think that there is a very rapid rotation now into value stocks. We've seen energy up year to date 39%, financials up about 16%. Those are traditional value sectors, and so I think that's been part of the reason for ARC's setback. But if I could add a little perspective to this, this happened to us in the fourth quarter of 2016 as well. Right after President Trump was elected, the stock market took off because tax rates were going to go down and so forth. And so the market started pricing in a very strong cycle, which was correct. In that period of time, our strategies went negative. And what I said at the time and what I believe now is that the bull market was broadening out to incorporate value or more cyclical sectors. And I thought that was going to be very good news for our strategy longer run. The worst thing that could have happened to us was another tech and telecom type bubble where the market narrowed so that only a few groups won. Right now, the market is broadening out, and we think in an underlying sense, the bull market is strengthening, and that will play to our benefit over the longer term.
Perfect, guys. Awesome. Well, hey, I mean, she covered some points that, we had been talking about just a second ago. She talked about we've been in a 40-year bull market for bonds, and it was, it was time for, a switch over. Here, I'm trying to figure out, there we go. Get that out of there. And, she had covered things that we had talked about, and she also, laid some truth is, to why things were happening the way they were. And, Kathy's a good supporter of the cryptocurrency space and a very, very intelligent woman. So, when she speaks, it's kind of something to listen to. Definitely. Absolutely. A lot of these bigger players didn't get to where they are, being, not taking risk also, but also not doing the research and understanding, what they're doing. Hedge funds, hedge funds are literally, hedge funds, they're hedging against what is going to happen. So they're adopting technologies and innovations and things that are going to, or, that they think are going to do well in the future to hedge them against the issues that we are trying to replace now. So, so that's just wonderful. I think it's amazing. So awesome. We're gonna cover this Michael Novogratz video real quick also. So he just kind of goes over the coverage from yesterday. We did have a pretty significant dip yesterday. If we hop over to the BTC chart, let's go over. Oh, whoops, not this one. Let's go over and see how bad. Let's see what we dipped to yesterday. I mean, it wasn't even crazy. We had seen these levels, went from a nice $60,000. We were at $60K not too long ago either. So here we'll play the video and then we'll go back to the logarithmic chart and we will definitely go over that. So
you explain the move over the weekend. Obviously, we've come back now a bit. I don't know if we were discussing whether we call that a correction. Is 10% a correction in Bitcoin land?
Bitcoin's trading like a 100 vol instrument at this point. So yeah, 10% I guess it's within the one standard deviation up and down move these days. Listen, the stimulus checks are coming. People are excited about that. A lot of the stimulus checks are going to young people who want to buy Bitcoin. But more importantly from that, in the last 3 months, we've had this secular shift where Bitcoin has become an asset. It's not maybe, it's not, it might be, it's now an asset class. Cryptocurrency is an asset class. Every bank is moving in, every tech company is moving in, and all portfolios are starting to move in. And so if you're not long, you're short. And that's just what you see on every dip. There are institutional buyers lined up to buy this thing.
So you think this weekend was institutions, not retail money?
No, this weekend was retail. What happens on the weekend is retail gets excited. You can tell because the cost of leverage goes way up on the weekend. And so the basis trading, different measures of how expensive it is to get leverage goes up. Then maybe one bad story, one nervous, moment, and everyone stops themselves back out. And so, from Friday afternoon, we're roughly 1% from where we were. And so if you're a normal market, you come in Monday morning, you roll up your sleeves, and you're like, okay, nothing's changed. Bitcoin goes 24/7. And so for the Bitcoiners, it was a big weekend.
Well, what do you make of, and Robert Frank did a report earlier today about the connection between the NFT market and the Bitcoin market, that the buyer, for example, on some of the Beeple stuff and other things, really are coming from people who've made a lot of money in Bitcoin. So how connected are these markets?
They're very connected, right? The NFT market is an extension of crypto, right? If Bitcoin was the first digital money you couldn't counterfeit, we now have that same concept going on into art, into IP. And so the early adopters of NFTs are almost all crypto people. A lot from the Ethereum community, right? Because it's built on the Ethereum blockchain. And so you see people that have made their money in crypto starting to participate. And that's a trend we see. We introduce someone to Bitcoin, they understand it, they like it, they start making money, and then they say, oh, what else? And then they look at the Ethereum ecosystem and start to understand what
there you go. We've covered that weeks ago. We went over that drawing, we went over all that. You go back a couple weeks, we've done that. That's exactly it. That's exactly it.
Walking that journey along with us.
How much do you think there's a natural point at which this gets to, let's say this gets to $100,000 or $200,000? Does that take the wind out of the air of Bitcoin to some degree? Because at some point, you can't make these 200, 300, 400, 500% gains the way you could have, obviously, if you were buying this thing when it was under $5,000.
Yeah, listen, the law of large numbers kicks in, and it gets harder for it to go higher. Listen, in the long run, we're in this once-in-a-lifetime secular shift where we had something that wasn't an asset class that's becoming an asset class.
Exactly.
So every insurance company and pension fund and endowment and money manager needs to get something on the books. So that's why we're having this kind of one-off secular shift. I think after that, Bitcoin will literally be like a report card for how citizens think the government is doing managing their finances. Right? This is not a money, right?
I love that. That was spot on.
And so, in some ways, if people think, Powell and Yellen really have got it together and they're going to be able to land this giant super tanker, grow us, at full employment and not have high inflation, people will stop moving into Bitcoin. But right now,
I think he's just saying that just to give some comfort. I'll save my words for after.
As long as that story's alive, both here and abroad, right? We've kind of got the same problem globally that we do in the United States with profligate spending. And so I think at that point, yes, you could see the real shift. But until then, until people really feel confidence that we're not going to blow out, listen, this new stimulus was a 10% GDP deficit on top of a giant deficit, right? We're kind of in uncharted territories on how much money we're printing. And Bitcoin is a report card on that.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching.
Awesome. Wanted to cover that as well. So that was another phenomenal interview. I love Michael Novogratz. He does an amazing job of explaining to those guys really what's going on and how things are playing out and why things are going the way they're going. Honestly, guys, just to wrap up, we're gonna wrap up here in just a couple minutes. Nothing too wild. Just went through the Patreon already. To make sure you guys are looking at those. I did get one vote for next major chapter for coverage. Oh, excuse me, guys. Non-fungible tokens are a bit of interest right now. Of course, they are NFTs. We're probably gonna have a whole dedicated section, or at least probably a session to that, particularly to that. And then I'll just post articles maybe just for that day. I'll definitely try to figure it out. I love your guys' feedback, so give it whenever you guys got it. Going through the logarithmic, oh my goodness, I can never say this word, logarithmic chart of Bitcoin. I like to throw this up here, and I will definitely throw this in the Patreon like usual. I like throwing charts up there for you guys because it just kind of shows the extended version. You know, the trend is your friend to the very end. So, you know, we've seen, just like we've talked about it so many times, we've seen June here, 16. I know this was so long ago. This is so long ago, but look, still here. Trend is your friend to the very end. You see it right here. Not saying it, just you can see it. You can see it. Absolutely. So I love leaving that up there for you guys. We're also going to go over the fear and greed, fear and index. I always like to check this here just to kind of see how people are feeling. So the greed now today is 71, extreme greed 76. Last week greed was 81. Last month's greed was 95. So people are very, very greedy right now. They're very in there. They're not fearful at all. They are loving the way the market is going, and they are here to keep pushing their money in. Let's see. Let me double check, make sure we did not forget anything for today. I think we are all wrapped up, guys. I'm definitely gonna try to. I know these hour sessions are pretty lengthy, not too lengthy, but I know I try to get through them and get effective information throughout them every time I come on here. But definitely 45 minutes to an hour is definitely what I'm gunning for. It's nothing too long. You can play in the background. You don't always have to look at. I try to make it so you don't have to watch me even. Like the way I'm watching right now. You don't have to sit at the computer. You can put headphones in. You don't even have to look at me. I try to make it so you can just hear the audio and have it work that way. But I do know some of you guys are visual learners, and that's why I do this side also. But awesome, guys. Nothing else on my end. Hope you guys have a great rest of your week. I'll see you guys on Thursday. Pay attention to the Patreon for updates. I'm going to be posting in there like usual. Of course, any feedback, please send me an email or Patreon me or anything like that. Discorders, ping me on Discord. I'm always there. So awesome, guys. Thanks so much, and I will see you guys in the next teaching.